Yes, yes, it's on. That is D.O. right there, featuring Chad Hatcher. And we've got D.O. on the phone right now with us. What's good, homie?
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year to you, man.
Happy New Year. Yes, 2014. How was your night last night?
Oh, man, it was pretty good. It's pretty low-key. But that's the way I like to bring in the New Year, man. I mean, I find sometimes people go a little overboard on New Year's Eve. I'm the person who don't want to just do it up big one night. I like to keep it consistent throughout the year, right?
Definitely, man. I'm the same, and Fresh Kills was saying the same thing, just keeping it low-key, just chilling out with a few friends, have a few drinks or whatnot, and just, chill out.
Exactly.
It gets a little crazy when you go out on those types of nights, on the big party nights, because it's just madness.
Think the worst thing, man, is it's hard to get a ride home. Because I mean, you don't want to be driving drunk, driving impaired. You try to get a cab, maybe you're drunk. Your designated driver had a few drinks, and then the worst part is then you wake up late on January 1st. And for me, man, I always look forward to this day because I like to get a lot done on January 1st. I like to wake up fresh. You know what I mean? I was up early this morning, just working on planning the new year out, doing some things, getting some things organized, and really getting ready.
Yes, getting ready. That's what it's all about, man. On the grind, and that's the topic of tonight's show. Is basically, hard work and the dedication. Just on the phone there with Fresh Kills and talking about his last year. He's done so much touring all over and working really hard. And yourself as well, just constantly. You're out there. You're out in Europe, heading down in China and whatnot, heading all over the place, doing your thing. What's it been like this past year for you?
Yeah, well, I'll touch on that. I'll just say, though, too, man, I love Kills and his grind, and it's similar to yours in that sense. It's like, we're people who set goals for the last few years, so it's nice when you accomplish those, because then it just makes you want to reach a little bit more for the next year, right?
Definitely.
And touching on what you're saying, I had a great 2013 because I've always really looked at the international game when it comes to music, and I've loved being able to go over to Europe so much in the last year. Performing in Croatia was definitely a highlight there at the Fresh Island Festival amongst people like Snoop Dogg and KRS, and touring over in Asia and rocking the spot in Taiwan is a lot of fun because what you really realize is the power of music and how you can really get things out worldwide nowadays just by putting it up on YouTube or on your website or just making a few Facebook friends and them sharing it with others. It's just great when you go to places around the world and people know the lyrics to your song. They might not know all the lyrics or they might not understand what those words mean, but it's cool when they do.
Definitely. That's a cool feeling, man. It's nice that you get a chance to kind of travel to these other places and kind of immerse yourself in the culture and see what the music's like there as well. I know I've seen you, working with some other artists, producers and stuff like that when you go to these different places, and it's nice to get that because you get the infusion of, different cultural sounds but of the same genre.
Yeah, it's cool to see, as an MC working with different producers, it's cool to see how they come up and what they're aware of and how, I started working with this group in Switzerland who makes some dope beats. And I didn't realize they knew anything about Canada. And then they were telling me how they work with Miles Jones. And they were listing me different MCs. They're like, you ever heard of Rich Kid and JD Air or Slack of the Beat Child? This is great.
Those are my people.
So, yeah. So, but it's great that, these are two young kids from Switzerland will know what's going on with Canadian hip-hop. And I think that's a great thing nowadays, that just people are aware of what we're doing. But at the same time, when you work with producers and you get a chance to be with them, you kind of see what's going on in their landscape and what hip-hop means to them. And that's the universal language, hanging out in a small studio in Singapore and just vibing to different beats and hearing MCs spit is cool to see that their issues are very similar to what we're going through here in Canada.
Definitely. Definitely, man. I feel that even just going across Canada myself, I haven't got a chance to travel internationally at all, but just seeing, experiencing the same thing, just going up to like Thunder Bay or Halifax or anywhere, there's little studios, all over, and MCs all over doing the exact same thing you're doing, passionate about some of the same issues and topics that, surround your life, and they just want to rap and just be hip hop, and it's kind of nice that there's this big community all over of like-minded individuals.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I mean, it don't matter what kind of studio you have, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just somebody's bedroom, or sometimes it's a little bit more professional, but sometimes the recordings that come out of those small bedrooms, they still sound pretty good, and that's what it's all about now too. Just making the best of what you got, because we've all been there, man.
Some of the greatest records. I remember listening to just like an old Pete Rock interview and stuff, and or just random interviews online. They're talking about like, oh, Big Pun, coming over to the little house studio here, just rock out this crazy track on this mic inside a regular room, like no even studio setup, just a random mic to a mixer, and that ends up being like a huge smash record, what I mean? So, or even like people like, I hate to bring up the name, but like Soulja Boy, like they made that on like the his song that made him blow up or whatever, that Superman track. It was made on the smallest, littlest, no budget equipment, and yet it still blew up. So sometimes it's not so much about getting in the most professional of atmospheres, but just getting into a place where you can be really creative and just let yourself go.
Most definitely, man. I think another thing is just going with the flow sometimes. I mean, from what that story you're saying, like I was just out with Classified in Scotia, and we had to put down the intro track to my album. And I know when he sent me the beat, like he came up with it on the spot, but he was having trouble finding the beat now that I'm back. And he couldn't find like the session with it. So all he had was the mixed down track, but we didn't want to just loop it the way through. So he had to still manipulate that loop and like pop up just the loop that he had, just that beat, so that we could have a little bit of variation. But we were just talking about how some of the dopest tracks in hip-hop came that way, too. The MC came in a session, they didn't have that MPC file, so, you had to make do, because it's not like you can... Sometimes it's difficult to go back and find that sample, right?
Mm-hmm. And it'll never come out exactly the same.
So, we were able to make it work, just like how, Pete Rock, I'm sure, has done that a million times too, right?
Yes, sir.
It's like that damn record. What was that record that I said?
That's hilarious. That's cool though. But Class is an experienced individual. I'm sure he was able to loop that up pretty nice and easy. He's been working on them beats for a minute.
yeah, exactly. He knows what he's doing.
What's up? So you guys are working on a project together right now, actually, right? When is that set to come out?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it, man, because now we've really completed the recording phase.
Nice.
And it's been going on for the last 2 years, so we did 10 tracks and laid down all 10 of them. And it's looking good, man, so it should be coming out in the first quarter. It might, like when I say first quarter, I mean in like March, but it might drift into April or May, just to make sure that it has the right setup, the right lead into it. But I'm pretty excited about it because, you really got to get the music done before you start planning all the other things. And now that the music's done, it's a good relief. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man. Definitely. Well, it's good, man. He's definitely one of the top guys in Canada right now, and it's good to have him, in your corner making your album and making it sound dope. Because like he's got that sound, and it's a staple across Canada now that he's a good guy to go to for solid hip hop.
Well, I think the thing with Class too, man, is I was at a conference. The East Coast Music Association had their conference last year, and he was on a panel speaking about working with artists, and he was just like, you can send the MP3s back and forth, but that's not really music. And I think that nowadays, especially in hip-hop, it's very easy to just send somebody a beat and record and send them the vocals and stuff. But it's cool to just go down and work with somebody, right, and be in the studio, because I'll go in and rap my raps. But, I mean, if he says, try saying this line like this, or, just vibing out to the arrangement of the track and how it's going to hit, I think that's what really makes the music. Because, as an MC, it's nothing for me to write 16 bars and a chorus, but you really want to make a dope song, and to do that, you really want to collaborate. And it's cool when you got his brother Mike Boyd coming in and putting something on it, or his dad coming in and laying the keys down. So I enjoy that whole creation process.
Definitely, man. And you know what? That's something that is missing in today's music. I think it's sorely lacking. Because I don't know, there's just this idea of just like continually just put out more music. So, and we don't have time to meet and sit down in the studio together. So just send me something. You send me your verse on that beat. I'll write out my thing, record it in my studio. I'll send it back to you, and we'll pop that record out. And you know what I mean? That happens so much. And it's not as organic as being in the same room, even just while the beat is being produced. That was one of the coolest things I remember, like on the original come up when I first started making music and working with producers and stuff. Like, we just sit there in the studio, have the producer make the beat right there, come up with the little sample, and then we'll start writing to it as the beat's getting more developed and we're hearing new sounds come in, and okay, tweak this little thing in the writing, and then all of a sudden just boom, go into the studio. Okay, the beat's done, laid down enough, let's record our pieces, we'll mix it up, master it up later, and put it out. You know what I mean? And that feeling of just creating it all right there was like, there's nothing like
right
that.
On the spot, yeah.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, it's fun too, because that changes the way you write to it too. If you're writing and then all of a sudden another instrument comes in, it's like, oh, okay, well now maybe I'm going to get a litup hype on this, like halfway through my verse, right?
Exactly, yeah. Those horns start coming in
that way, so I feel you.
Word up. Well, and man, it's awesome to talk to you, bro, because like our journey through this music industry, it's been a while. The first time I was talking to the people a little bit about it, the first time meeting you, you know what I mean, up at Center Wellington High School there in Fergus, when I was still in high school, going to school, and you came through and rocked out during that assembly, and I got a chance to touch
7 years ago now.
Yeah, it was time ago, man. It's cool that we've just stayed in contact. And I remember grabbing your email and stuff, and you hooked me up with a CD, and I sent you some messages, and we've just kind of just stayed in touch over the years, and it's been really cool to see you grow and your work ethic, like, and I'm definitely learning from you for sure, man. Just watching what you do and seeing, like, you're definitely a big inspiration, I gotta say, for me, because when it comes to Canadian hip hop, there's only a few people like that are actually able to make a living off of this thing and do it successfully in a business minded manner, and you're one of those dudes. So I definitely I look up to you, and I definitely think I want to watch what you do, so I could definitely get to that point myself as well.
I respect that, man. I mean, I think that's the good thing nowadays with social media, in the sense that like if you're following certain artists or certain people, you kind of get a sense of what they're doing on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. So like same way, man, I see your hustle. I see just enjoying the journey, because I think that's what hip-hop's about. And I like MCs and artists that are enjoying it, man. Like, I mean, the opportunity to make music, the opportunity to tour your music and get out to spots and work with dope artists that you respect. I mean, it doesn't matter what phase you're at in your career, whether you're starting in the midway or at the end, as long as you're enjoying that's what it's about. So when you see cats doing it on the regular, that's what you got to appreciate.
Yes, man. Yes, definitely. People that are able to turn it into a livelihood and call it a career. And that's you, man, definitely. So it's cool to see the progression and see where you're at. I'm super looking forward to hearing the album when it gets put out. All of your CDs so far that you've put out, and songs I've listened to and bumped and tried to keep them in rotation here on the radio, and we'll definitely keep it going in the new year, 2014. Any big plans that you got coming up for this year aside from putting that record out?
Yeah. Well, the big thing for me right now is at the end of this month, I'm heading back over to France. I go to MEDAM, the world's biggest music conference, and this will be my 7th time there, but I'm really looking forward to it. This time I'm doing a show there this time. Nice. So I get to do a showcase for Canada at the Canada show, and that'll be a lot of fun. Chuck D's going to be over there, and I've known Chuck a few times, so I'm going to try to pull him to the show, but at least get a chance to connect with him. That's and then I head to Amsterdam for a few days. I work with Static Music on some music out there, and building with some people in business. And then I'm heading to Sweden after that, and I'm performing at the Independent Music Awards and presenting an award there too. So never been to Sweden, so I'm looking forward to being in Stockholm.
Nice, man. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear, bro. I love hearing about that. You're just, out France, out Sweden, you go here, go there. I love that. I love it, man. How music can take you all over those places. It must be nice to just get a chance to travel there and experience, like, you know, different cultures and seeing what it's like in those places.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what I really think with the music business is a lot about relationships, and what I've tried to do is build those relationships with people internationally, and so it's cool for me to see that, you know, from those planting those seeds 4 or 5 years ago, that now, like, starting to grow. You know what I mean? So it's like now I'm starting to get asked to come to these things, and you know, opportunities at different shows. So I think that's key, because I just find that, like, if you just stay in Canada, it can be really discouraging in the music business, right? And, you know, you're just like, oh man, like, you know, and you feel like you got to climb a rung, or you know, it's kind of the crabs in the bucket thing. And I just really think that doesn't exist. That there's a niche out there. Like Fresh Kills is a great example of that. I mean, when I was in Scotia, I was talking to Fester from the Extremities, and he was telling me how Kills has been on the road for a few months, man, and you know, maybe not everybody will realize that in the hip hop game, but, like, I mean, he's making a killing right now. So you just got to find your niche and work it.
Definitely, yeah, no, and that's what we were talking about a lot on the phone there, is his relentless, you know, road touring, just getting out there and just hitting all these different spots, some of the excitement of seeing some of the places that he's been in, the crowds that he's got to interact with. But that's funny that you mentioned about, you know, just staying around in Canada and, like, getting that discouraging feeling of, like, oh, crabs in the bucket and everybody's out for this small piece of the pie, because that's exactly what Fresh Kills was talking about. He's like, there's a point in my career where I was just getting really down because, you know, I was trying to book a tour, and it just seemed to be that, like, I was trying to book it around the same time that a few other people that I know were trying to book tours, and it was like I was competing with them, trying to get cities just for this, like, small guarantee on these shows, and you know, I mean, he's like, it seemed like it was just such a small piece of the pie, and everybody's out to get it. He's like, it was really discouraging. But I guess he's like, you know, I talked to Ghetto Sox about it, and Ghetto Sox just like, yo, stay the course, bro, just keep doing what you're doing, and it'll all work out. And he's like, you know, he couldn't have been more right, because this past year has been incredible for me, you know, going all over the place and touring and stuff. And, you know, it's that's what it is trying to find other outlets and look outside of just this one country of Canada.
Yeah, not precisely, man. I mean, I think the good thing is, you know, there's certain there's like a new grant that came in Canada and Ontario specifically, that's really trying to push, you know, music even further, so that we can get it out beyond, you know, from where we are right now. But it can definitely be a challenge.
Definitely, it's hard. It's not an easy grind, booking shows around this country and stuff, or even internationally. But it's possible, and people like you are a pure example of, if you want it, you can get it. And
well, this is what I say.
You
though,
did.
Man. I say, like, you know, MCs are all the time like, yo, man, I'm hungry. Like, yo, man, like, we gotta have a meeting, man. Let's have a meeting. I really want to do what you're doing, man. And I'm like, but you gotta understand, if you're an artist who wants to make this your life and your career, well, hunger takes on a different position, man. Hunger ain't just getting in the booth and spitting your rhymes. Like, the music's that's the easy part.
Yeah.
Right? You got to have the hunger to book these shows and to make those connections. And like, that's what you got to have the hunger for. Like, all that other stuff is easy, man. Like making business plans and writing grants and reaching out to promoters and following up on your single on college radio, like, those are the tough things. Right? So, like, I mean, to me, that's what separates the winners from the losers at the end of the day. Separates the successful people from the unsuccessful. I mean, you look at sports, man, there's a lot of playground basketball legends that were really good basketball players, but they just didn't know how to function as a team. They didn't know the courses to go to become a professional, right? So you might be a street legend, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm. But it's all about that business side, you know what I mean? And you got to embrace it. It's not just about the talent and about what it takes to play the sport. You got to know the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, if you want to be a starving artist, that's cool, but I don't know, man. I don't.
No, but there's a lot out there.
It influences your music then too, man. Like then you're making songs about how you broke and how life sucks. It's like, God, nobody really wants to hear about that.
That's very funny and very, very true. Yes, I can see that in a lot of different artists' music. They get to that point where they just get frustrated and they're just like, when's this money gonna come? Oh, it's never gonna come. Okay, I'm just gonna complain about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's cool if you want to, have an outlet that way, but we just passed Christmas, and I think Christmas is a lot like music. It's like, some of these guys are like kids, believing in Santa Claus until you realize Santa Claus ain't real, just like how a lot of things in the music business aren't real, right?
Wow, that is so true, bro. What a nice analogy.
Yeah, like at some point you got to realize it, and just to follow that analogy further, it's like, to give the gift. You always hear it's like, it's better to give. And as a kid, you don't believe that. But, from being in the music business too, like when I look back at my last year, one of my favorite things was we got a chance to go out to Amsterdam, and, I'm taking Rich Kid out for the first time to Amsterdam, and Sean Booth and DJ Nana and Devin Tracy. And it's like, these are some dope MCs, and I'm getting a chance to have them, perform out in Amsterdam, but also show them the scenes, show them the right coffee shops, show them the right spots to go to and whatnot. And to just, I look for them, a few years down the road to bring other cats out there, right, to keep that cycle going. But, the ability to just try to help other artists to get to a spot, because, there wasn't a lot of people to really show me the way. I had to try to find it. And, you just always hope that it gets a little easier for the next generation, because especially in other genres in Canada, they're really advanced, like country music is you have mentors and you have award shows and whatnot, but we don't have that as much in hip hop.
For sure. But it's getting there, and with more people like you, man, it's gonna push to that point. And I gotta give you a special thanks, definitely, for being that kind person to me as well. Like when I was out there in Saskatoon and met up with you for the Junos there, man. You covered all my drinks for me, drinks on you. Introducing me to everybody that you knew there, brought me out to a few of the after parties, introducing me to anybody that you could there. Like that really meant a lot to me, man. It really did. And I think like I strive so much to try and do the same thing to other younger MCs coming up as well, because like I feel the same way. There's not many people out there that want to help you out, that want to give you the recipe, you know what I mean? And when I was talking to Fresh Kills, I was telling him about how Ghetto Socks, like when I wanted to book some East Coast dates, he sent me this email with like 10 different contacts out there. He's just like, I hit up these people, see what happens. I ended up booking 3 shows out of those, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
sure.
And it's just because he was able to help me out like that and be like, here, I'll offer you this, or I'll give you that. And like, that's so crucial in the industry, and it's going to come back and pay you back. Because just like this, now Ghetto Socks is touring in February, and we're going to book him here in a show in Guelph, get him some paper in his pocket for that, and bam, the favors returned, just as simple as that. And all he had to do is send me an email. So it's simple things like that, and I love giving and receiving in that sense. So man, props to you for always being a guy out there that's looking out for the underdog, and always having your
appreciate
hand
that,
out
man.
there.
Because I mean, the thing is too is like, sometimes it's just about responding to people, man. Because like, even the Ghetto Socks hit you back and was like, you know what, man, like I would avoid New Brunswick completely. Like I could give you some names, but it's not even worth it. It's like just having that knowledge that like, okay, well, pretty dope MC who's got a track record out there says not to worry about this territory, so I'm not going to go there. Or I might not go there, but sometimes you reach out to these dudes and they don't say nothing at all, man. So to me, it's about knowledge, and that's why I try to go to different conferences or just try to network with MCs, on all types of levels, because you want to see what's out there. You want to see what's popping, what's not. So We could all pretend and be like, yo, man, like everybody's trying to book me across the country, everything's crazy, sorry, I can't even let you know because I don't know. I got agents on agents, but like really, man, I don't know too many booking agents that are really booking hip hop in this country. You know what I mean? And the reason they're not is because it's not making money, right? Yeah. So otherwise they'd be on it. So it's nice when cats are real and can let you know just, whether they can give you a contact or not, but just, respond it.
Yes, definitely. Well, we appreciate the responses from you, man. I hit you up today. I'm just like, yo, you want to do a quick interview? Boom, quick back with the response. Yeah, man, I'm down. So I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all about that. Well, we got to wrap it up here. The show's about to end at 10 o'clock. So much respect for doing the interview with us here, man. We'll definitely have to connect back up in the new year, and hopefully we'll smash out some shows together in the new year for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Robbie G.
All right, much respect, brother.
All right, peace.
Take care.